and higher pressure. You may see rat tails and spiny eels or lanternfish and deep water sharks and rays, as well as new and undescribed coral species. Then by chance, target, we set 4 categories based on how much of the target is met in each ecosystem type. Well protected means you've met 100% of your target. Moderately protected, more than 50%. Poorly protected, more than 5%. And not protected, less than 5% has been met. But this is not the end of the story. You should know by now it's never that easy. We don't just want protection, we want effective protection. That means we need to take ecological, socio-economic, and governance factors into account. To account for ecological effectiveness, we have to take into account condition of ecosystems. To do this, we downweight the contribution of areas that are modified to the protection level target. This means if an area is 90% modified, it only contributes 10% to the protection of that ecosystem type. Plus, very importantly, you can only qualify as well protected if 100% of your target is met in natural or near natural condition. You do not qualify as well protected if the only bits that are protected are moderately modified or modified in any way. So now we see that even those, so now we can see our full protection level map. 83% of our ecosystems types are in some kind of protected area, but only 20% of those are well protected. This means that even though there's a large amount of ecosystems in protected areas, due to their condition, only a small portion are actually well protected. This is helping us to understand that we need to prioritize improving ecological condition of our ecosystem types in order to improve their protection. Further, 2 papers have also looked at the socio-economic and governance effectiveness of our protection level. But there is still a lot of work to be done. We need your help. Protection won't work if we don't consider and involve people and address issues that undermine protection area legitimacy. We need to look at diversifying our protection level models. Next, we can also focus on our ecosystem types that can improve in protection through protected area expansion. Through a number of possible models, perhaps, and definitely making sure to learn from mistakes of the past. If we look at this map, we see that slopes, abyssal plains, muddy and rocky shelves, and open oceans are the most poorly protected ecosystem functional groups. Now we have our 2 headline indicators of the NBA, our threat status and protection level. Well done, you guys are rock stars. But let's not stop there. Next step, we can look at the combination of threat status and protection level and identify those ecosystem types that are highly threatened and poorly protected, such as the orange cone inner shelf mud reef mosaic that we visited earlier, or the southern Benguela reflective sandy shore that we stood upon in the beginning of this talk. Broadly, if we look at these ecosystem types, we find that our main priorities are more research, improved pressure management, increased protection, and most importantly, participatory approaches to their management. We can also start to prioritize areas for protection by looking at condition of threatened ecosystems. We want to prioritize protecting areas that are still in good condition within these ecosystem types, such as these areas that we can see highlighted. And finally, the iterative improvements you may have heard me mention are driven mostly by South Africa's young scientists and students, without which this work would not have been achieved. It is a huge community of practice that enables us to do this work. And I'd like to read out another Jules Verne quote that I think is very topical. Science, my lad, is made up of mistakes, but they are mistakes which are useful to make because they lead little by little to the truth. And this is really the ethos at SANBI. Iterative improvements where we do the best we can and we use the best available information and we continually improve. Now we have our status. We know what biodiversity we have and we know what state it's in. So our next stage is, sorry. Our next stage is recommendations and actions, right? Mainstreaming and policy advice. But this too is not something that we can do alone. It is a collaborative effort by many people working together to take these results and co-develop recommended actions for us to take to improve biodiversity in the future. If you go onto our website and you're interested to read more of this, I encourage you to look on our page Knowledge Gaps, Priority Actions, and Priority Areas. And I really encourage you to engage with this content, as well as coming to workshops to engage with the work directly. Also, please go and listen to Pratil's talk in 2 weeks, where she's going to go into using the NBA 2025 for planning, policy revision, and decision making in South Africa. Now we have come to the end of this presentation, and I see that I'm only a few minutes late, so that's brilliant. So now you know some more of what marine biodiversity we have, you understand its current status, and you are ready to help co-develop our recommendations and actions. So going forward, how can you help with this work? So in the lead up to the next NBA, you could help with foundational knowledge. If you are a researcher or an indigenous knowledge holder, you can help create foundational knowledge that helps us better map our marine ecosystem types. Or if you prefer to plan and assess, you can